To another episode of the Three Wise Guys podcast. Today it's just two wise guys. It's me and it's Luke. Luke, how are you doing?
Doing well. No Chiefs today?
No Chiefs today, but we won yesterday. We won yesterday. Man. It wasn't a great game. You were pointing out rightfully so that it wasn't a phenomenal game. And you're talking about the me saying like, oh, it's the Chiefs or
both? But I feel like it's like. Am I the way? I always thought like those were tied in. Are they not tied in? Like, did I just not understand? Or
I was not like trying to make the link, but I'm glad you did.
Okay. I thought that was intentional. I thought it was like
Dolapo's hat is a Chief's hat. Like it's like a Nigerian tribe's Chiefs hat is what it is, and that's where that kind of came from.
But it's also the Kansas Chiefs colors.
It ironically is, yes.
Exactly. So I was like, okay, you know what?
It's fine. It works out. Well, the Chiefs, you guys are, what is it, 1-2 now for the season? So you saved yourself a little bit, but still not fantastic. So
hopefully like 2-2 by the time this episode comes out. But we'll see. We'll see. I did feel a little like one of my clients sent me an email the other day, and she ended it with both us and the Chiefs are in the same spot. And she is a Tennessee Titans fan. Ooh. And I don't know, that felt...
that one's a little hard to swallow.
Yeah, but I will say this. I was telling my clients yesterday at my client dinner, I'm like, I'm kind of excited for this season because I feel like, as me and you were talking about, this is the first opportunity for us to like really be like, we are true Chiefs fans.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, if we actually have a losing season, it's kind of like, okay, like we're not bandwagoners anymore. I think 3 bad seasons to officially be like a non-bandwagoner. Like, what do you think is like?
The real question is, I'm curious. Like, even if you stick through, let's say, all of the bad seasons, right? When let's say you decide to switch teams 5 years down the line, you stuck through like 4 or 5 bad seasons.
Sure, yeah.
Is it like, are you still a bandwagoner because you've left them at some point? Also, like, how okay is it to just switch favorite teams as a sports fan? Do you think?
I think it really depends on who you're talking to, because like some fans will probably like I mean like my clients that are from the States, like they're like kind of like our family supports like a team.
Yeah, it's like deep rooted into the family history.
So for them, it's like the answer is never. Like you're never a bandwagoner.
Traitor.
Like you're never allowed to not be a bandwagoner if you switch your team. Because for them, it's like they were basically telling us how like they were like one of them has been like a Lions fan for 3 generations, and they were kind of saying how like their son now is like kind of in the best position to be a Lions fan, at least as of the past like 2 seasons. But it's like, imagine that, man, like the brutality of just like 3 generations effectively of just like, but like 3rd generation now being the one that's, kind of getting the rewards, but it's like 3 generations of just being ass. Like,
yeah. And
terrible.
Now finally, you might have something to show.
Yeah. So, I mean, I get the bandwagoner comment maybe from that person, but like, anyway.
All right. Well, I think if you stick through, even if you stick through 1 bad season, I think you're a proper fan.
Yeah.
I don't think it needs to be like 3 seasons. I think as long as like they lose or they have a bad year, whatever it is, and you're like, yeah, no, those are still my guys. I think you've done everything that you need to do.
Agreed.
Yeah, and you just gotta keep it going at that point.
Agreed.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, it's also like as you know, like the sport I kind of watch the most is not like a traditional sport, like it's MMA, right? So it's like in MMA, it's like you're not really like held accountable to like be fans of just like one fighter. You know what I mean? Like every MMA fan has multiple favorite fighters, and a lot of times like in the same weight class, right? So it's like I feel like from that perspective, sometimes I'm kind of like, well, why is there such like a deep loyalty towards teams? But then I also get it because it's more about like certain teams have like a culture of like a certain playing style and like a certain philosophy. So it's like you might like.
I think it's.
I don't know. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I think it's also like with MMA at least, and correct me if I'm wrong. Like, not everybody fights every weekend. There's so many fighters.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like with every other sport, the schedule is what the schedule is. Everybody like performs on a weekly basis, so you're going to be able to cheer for your team every week,
multiple times.
You know what I mean? But you can't do that in MMA. So you need to be able to at least appreciate somebody else to like enjoy the fight. I think that's a big part of it.
I see that, but I think. Yeah, no sports fans are probably as radicalized as like, I don't know. Actually, what do you think is more intense? Like NFL/college football versus like European football?
What's more radicalized?
Or just like, like passionate, like diehard, like whatever term you'd use. Like
that one's tough because obviously like European football has more numbers in terms of supporters.
Yes.
Right. So it can feel very overwhelming, but like Americans are crazier for sure. Americans are definitely crazier sports fans.
I've heard though, like man, like in some of the minor leagues in Europe, like they get like actually nuts. Like they get like violence and stuff like in Scotland. From what I've heard,
you're right. Those are pretty radical. Well, yeah, they're just drinking. They're just drinking, getting drunk, and going to watch like a minor league game. I've seen some like pretty crazy stuff happen at big leagues too, right? Like the Prem,
for sure,
Liga and things like that. Maybe I'd have to say like just by sheer size, I think European football fans are more radical.
Okay.
I think by sheer size, because all of the crazy things that you hear happening on US like news sports media happens in Europe as well. We just don't get it covered as much.
And probably on like a greater scale.
It definitely at a greater scale, like at a way bigger scale. But like sometimes you look at what people do at like these college football games, and I didn't know that you could care that much about college sports.
Yeah, you could like throw your life away.
Honestly, because growing up in Canada, we don't have that college sports atmosphere. You know what I mean? Now it's like literally like a multi-million-dollar industry now. Yeah. In the US,
there was kind of like a funny tweet I read recently where it's like the NIL is kind of like apparently like ruining a little bit of like the talent coming into like the NFL and the NBA.
Like spoiling them, you mean?
Well, just because it's like in the past, like if you were good enough, you go straight to the NFL or the NBA every single time, and it's like I'm sure like the guys who are like like the equivalent of like LeBron or like some of these like guys. I guess in football it's a bit different, but like from what I understand, like nowadays it's like no, you stay because it's like you get crazy deals through the NIL, right? So it's kind of like what incentive do you have to go to the league? You end up going to the league 4 years later. That obviously has an impact on like your game because the competition in like, university is granted not as intense, right? Like as the actual NBA. So I don't know. It's like, so there's that. And then they were saying like OnlyFans is like the same as the NIL, but for like the porn industry because they were like, anyway, you can make that comparison, but like, yeah, I thought that was funny.
Is it like, so is it like you do OnlyFans and then you graduate to standardized produce porn?
But they're like,
is that the theory?
Well, they're saying like they might not because it's same as the NIL. Like you might not ever have to play in the NFL or the NBA because you make so much money that it's like by the time it's there, it's like you can kind of just like
retire.
Well, dude, some of these NIL deals are actually insane. Like they're getting crazy money on their jerseys. Like the guys that my clients were from Utah, and they were saying even like in Utah State, like they're giving out like $500,000 yearly contracts, like million. And we're talking about like, at least their words, like this is a top 50 team. Like this is not like Alabama. This isn't Texas. This isn't like LSU. Like it's not these like huge schools, right? Like still Division I schools,
right?
But like top 50, not top 10, not top 5. So I can only imagine like what an Alabama is like putting out, like what Harvard is paying, like their basketball players and stuff like that. Like, has to be insane, right? Like, so anyway, they were like, the integrity of the league is being ruined by this amateur league. Same thing on the other side. But anyway, we don't need to dwell too much on that.
No, that's fine. I mean, I do always find that super interesting. It's like, okay, are these kids really getting what they should be getting out of school if you're paying them like $1 million a year to be there? Right? Like, are they really going to care about school at that point?
They don't at all.
They don't.
Like, they don't. No.
They don't. Whereas it used to be the incentive was you need to stay in school do well in order to even qualify for the league. Now it's like,
well, the incentive,
you don't need that anymore.
In the past,
incentive for that is gone.
Was school.
Now the incentive is play well.
Yeah, and like make like a ton of money, like, which I mean, like, you know what I mean. Yeah. I'm just sad I wasn't like, you know, born like 6'8" and like super athletic and like in the US.
Okay, well, you know, maybe this serves as like a really solid transition because I wanted to ask you about this tweet. I sent you this tweet. We'll put it up on the screen too. We'll make sure that Davin has it. But essentially, there's this guy named Sam Parr. I don't even know what he does. He started and sold some startups. Oh, he's okay. Now it makes sense why this did. He's the founder and president of Hampton Founders Club. Does that make sense?
Okay,
that makes so much sense now, doesn't it?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So the Hampton Founders is like a social club for startup people, whatever it is. It's kind of like, what's that founders card? Is it literally just a founders card?
Oh, founders card is one of them, but like another one is like EO.
Yeah. So he's followed by like Jason Calcanis, David Freeber, all those guys, those rich guys. Anyways, so he asked this question in their Slack community. They have a Slack community. And they have people in there worth like between 10 million all the way to $2 billion. And they also have like average everyday Joes like you and I in there too. And so they had takeaways from each band of like net worth, or basically the goal was to differentiate the quality of life between, you know, different lifestyles of like 10 million, 100 million, and 1 billion. So anyways, the question was, what's the difference between $10 million, $100 million, and $1 billion, right? And these are some of the few key takeaways. So they split this up by like net worth band. So they said for the first 50K to 100K liquid, this one was the part that you said was a bit out of touch, I think. The first quote, I feel rich, for many in their 20s as soon as they have that. Apparently that's like the feedback that they've gotten. So bills stop hurting, you breathe. And then it goes on to say that $1 million net worth rarely changes anything. In high cost cities, it's just comfortable professional, still very income dependent, which, you know, is a crazy way to like characterize this, I think. You know, like you grow up, you know, you get to this age, you get to this like lifestyle, and you're like, holy crap, you know, like 200,000 seems nice, 300,000 seems nice, 500,000 seems nice. All these seem really nice. Like, I can't wait till I get that. I can't wait to do that. And then all this thread apparently is saying it means nothing. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm kind of thinking like I'm 27. Like in terms of like liquid assets, I'd probably be on the low end of that, like that income, that like liquid asset range. It's like, yeah, like I don't, like, I guess the part I disagree with is I just don't feel rich at all. Like maybe it's like we live in Toronto and it's like a little bit of a more expensive city. And you know what, like this weekend offered me some perspective, because I think like as people who live in Canada and like grew up mostly in Toronto, I think like sometimes you forget like Toronto is truly a world class city, and like maybe that's why I don't feel rich. Like maybe if I made this exact, like if I had this exact same net worth and income level, like, and I lived in like Calgary, I probably would feel pretty good. You know what I mean? But it's just like, I think, yeah, I guess that's where like it kind of rubbed me wrong, because I was like, and you know what? Also, like I'm on the lower end of that range, right? Maybe if I was on the higher end of that range, it'd feel a little bit different. But it's also like I can't imagine it would, you know? Like I can't imagine if I had like 100K on like stocks and then like liquid cash, like I would immediately be like, oh, I feel rich. Like I don't think I would, you know?
I like, it's not like I get what they're trying to say. I think it's like, because they use quotations. They're like, I feel rich. You know what I mean? It's like for the first time in your life, like you have a little bit of money, and I'm like, sure, okay, I can see it from that perspective, but I agree with you. Like it doesn't feel rich. You know what I mean? And maybe that's just because we have a little bit of perspective here, but also the perspective, I guess, from all of these is people who are rich now in this group that are speaking about what their first 5 to 100K was, and I can definitely see like the retroactive aspect of this, you know what I mean, where that perspective is coming from. Because when you're in it, you're like, well shit, I need more money, like this is not okay. Anyways, $10 million liquid is the next band. So this is funny. I think this is where all these athletes that we're talking about come in. Like
they can hit that.
They like in their 20s, like they can easily hit that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So this apparently is the first real unlock. You know, speaking like a true founder.
So what was it, 5 to 10 million or 10 million?
10 million.
So it went from
up to 10 million. You're fucked.
So it went from 50 to 100K immediately to 10 million.
Immediately, well, because the question was 10 million, 100 million, and 1 billion. They just kind of threw the 50 to 100K in there for fun.
Okay, yeah, fair.
So at 10 million liquid, they say the safety net feels permanent. You stop looking at the right side of the menu. Business class by default. 5-star hotels when you want. And they also say that you can cover your friends' flights to make trips happen. Life doesn't run you anymore. This is just like some of the feedback that they received.
Yeah, 10 million. Makes sense.
Makes sense. 20 to 25 million liquid. The first thing on this list is I can spend 50 grand a month forever and still compound.
Yeah, I did a little double take when I first read that. I was like, does that math out? And I was like, you know what? 50 grand a month. That's like 600 grand a year.
Yeah, it's not even $1 million a year.
And it's like 600 grand a year, 25, what is it, 25 million?
20 to 25 million.
20 million, like average 10% return rate. Yeah, like you're getting 2 mil a year.
Yeah, like so easily you can spend that and like you're
600K is nothing. Like in 10 mil, you know, like
I'd be hard pressed to believe that most people can spend 50 grand a month. I don't think most people.
It's pretty hard.
It's difficult to spend 50 grand.
I guess with like a mortgage and a car payment, maybe, but
yeah, I guess so. You know, but anyways, they said nicer primary home, staff for convenience, nanny, cleaners. I've definitely seen people with less.
Get a nanny and cleaner.
Absolutely. By the way. So maybe this is like live in folks.
Oh, like permanent. Yeah,
permanent.
I can see that. Yeah, I can see that. That adds to that 50K a month.
Yeah. And I don't know what he means by. What do you think he means by this? Family support starts to be normal, not splurge.
I think family support just means like you're routinely like giving an allowance to your family.
Oh, you're right. You're not splurging on it, but it's like, normally you can just give money to your family now.
Like you might just send your parents like, $5,000 a month.
Oh, fun. Okay.
Kind of thing. Like,
yeah, cool. Mom, if you're listening, I'm not there yet.
Quite a ways off. Actually.
Quite a ways off.
Quite a ways off.
All right, the next band. The next few are interesting uncoverings, I'd say. So 50 mil. This one's not even that interesting, but 50 mil liquid. Cash flow is thick and hard to fully redeploy. That was just unnecessarily complicated. Second homes, extended travel, serious privacy planning begins. You're learning trusts, tax vehicles, and who not to trust. So it's like this is like your transition into becoming like institutionally wealthy, I guess.
Yeah, I mean 50 million. Poof.
50 million, like, geez. And then 100 million, the very first thing, this is the funniest thing I read. Life becomes frictionless.
Okay, I can see that.
I want maybe in a future episode we can break down what it means to be frictionless, because I really like that concept, but I just think it's funny. You unlock that at 100 million. You fly private often. You have a full household team, executive assistants, specialists, family offices. Capital allocation becomes a job. You choose projects. Problems get solved without you was also another interesting thing.
Problems get solved without you. Interesting.
Yeah.
So I guess it's like assuming that you have like people around you on your like formal team that's like just taking care of this stuff.
Exactly. That's what I'm guessing they mean. And then past 100 million, and this is an argument we have had before in the house and on the pod where we've talked about like lifestyle changes and like additional money, like how much more beneficial is that? So past 100 million, most people say personal lifestyle doesn't change much. Scale and privacy do. So you have land for privacy buffers. You have private gyms, courts, spas at home. You'll never fly commercial unless you want to, is what they're saying. So nothing about your lifestyle changes apparently at this point, but you're just more of a private individual. And then at $1 billion, they say money becomes institutional. You never see a bill. Global properties, fully private travel, governments, universities, and CEOs court you. It's legacy season. Foundations, endowments, monuments. So there's a few real anecdotes from this thread, right? And I'll read them out, and then we can talk about it a little bit. Yeah. A billionaire bought a pro sports team mid-flight on his jet. His right-hand guy became the COO. That actually happened. A friend group dropped 200 to 300K on a yacht week just to get everyone together.
What income level is that?
It doesn't specify, but like if I go back and
probably be like the 20 mil.
10 mil liquid says this is the first real unlock. You can cover your friends' flights to make trips happen. That was at the 10 mil unlock part. Well, anyways, and then multiple members set up dual family offices to manage life plus investments. Well, it's just crazy. So the biggest trap everyone warned about, and these are the pieces that maybe we can talk about a little bit. First one was, quote, coming into money without accomplishing anything is a curse.
Yeah, I'd imagine.
And then lottery winner energy breaks people. Purpose over purchases. So yeah, that's it. Basically, they're saying cash flow over net worth psychologically. Even people with $50 to $100 million feel poor during low cash flow years. They say it's mentally draining.
Yeah, of course.
I would much rather be in that position with a low cash flow year than in this position, but yeah, I get it.
The big thing is we don't have 50 mil, right? Like the reality is it's like if you just got 50 mil or 20 mil or even 10 mil, right? Even $1 million, like it would be a life-changing amount of money, like at least in our current position, because like we haven't actually needed to set up systems to make that million. Like most people who make $1 million, like, there is a product they're selling or a service that they're selling, and that service comes with like a variety of costs, like, right? It has CRM costs, like they have accountants, lawyers, like whatever it is, like, right? So it's like, it is like, okay, 10 million liquid, but it's kind of like caveat annual expense of like whatever it is, like 200K, 300K. You know what I mean? So it's like, if we were to get like $1 million right now, like that would just kind of set us up for retirement immediately, because it's like we wouldn't incur any additional expenses, and we would immediately be able to if me, you, or Delapo were to get $1 million, we could just instantly invest it.
Yeah, we put it in a retirement fund.
We have an active income. Like we would probably, I don't know, like find like a financial consultant and like probably have them invest it for us, or like throw it in our fund or something like that. But it's like, yeah, that's how I kind of think about that. But it is interesting to think about those scales of money, right? Like one of the things that people say is like the problem with society nowadays is the rich become so much astronomically more rich that it's like, it's hard for anyone to do basic things like buy houses. And it's like, yeah, you throw around those numbers, it makes sense.
It makes sense. And like the way that they're talking about, like this is real feedback from real people.
Yeah.
But it's crazy. Like they're not talking about like business income here. This is your net worth. They're talking like it's
yeah.
I find it very fascinating. Like the more money you amass, like it is just very much institutional. Like you are now
like legacy planning, figuring out how you can keep it, all that stuff.
No one's looking at this and being like, oh, okay, like, what GIC do I need to buy with this money? Like, I guess how do I make sure like everything's stable and like my RSP is filled? Like none of these guys are even talking about that, thinking about that.
What do you think would be like your goal? Like, because it's like, to be completely honest, like I don't think I would want to be worth $1 billion. Like that sounds exhausting. I don't know if that's just like I'm a pleb and I'm too poor to understand that mentality, but it's also just like I feel like my perspective on the world is like the world is about manifesting your destiny, and in some weird ways, if you're that rich, I think like you actually have a little bit less control. In the sense of like there's a lot of reputation to uphold, like the idea of like the monuments and the universities and the institutions courting you is like you have like a certain image and needs to, like, you know what I mean? Like there's a certain, I don't know if it makes sense. Like it just, in my mind, I feel like $1 billion is almost like a little bit of a burden. Whereas like, to me, like what feels nice to me is like that 25 million mark. Like that, like, oh, pure financial freedom. I can take care of myself. I can take care of the people around me. I'm not big enough that like, big players are like threatened or like super like paying attention to me sort of thing. Like, I'm chilling. Like I don't need to own a basketball team, right? I just want to be able to go to a basketball game whenever I want.
Courtside.
You know what I mean? Like that's kind of the vibe I want. Like I don't need to like I don't want to like have to rent out a whole restaurant to go eat there because like I'm so high profile. I want to just be able to go and sit down and have most people not know who I am. You know what I mean? and like be able to have a conversation with the table next door. So like, I feel like for me, it's like that 25 million mark. I'm good with that 25 and plus 25 million liquid.
It's
insane.
really hard. That's a whole that's a whole lifetime worth of work.
Yeah, it's insane.
We all look at these, like people have like reached these at different stages of their life. Like for most people, like if you are gonna get to that level, it's gonna be like a hey, like you got to the end of your career and you made that. Good job.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's tough. To your point, and I'll maybe say a couple of these points that I didn't mention earlier. So they had two more categories: what actually brings joy at scale, and what gets old fast. So what actually brings joy at scale, according to multiple rich people, is buying back time. So coaches, chefs, pilots, concierge, funding memories. So fly the whole crew, pick up the tab every time. Being present. So one member took a year as a stay-at-home dad, and he said he wouldn't trade it for anything, right? And then what gets old fast is more stuff to manage, identity tied to net worth. I think that's what you're talking about with the institutional, like the billionaires. What do you do? Oh, I'm a billionaire. Like your identity, you can no longer remove that because it's all institutional. Chasing bigger dopamine. Toys instead of deeper meaning, health, family, service, community, whatever. I mean, sure, yeah, we could all told you that too before you got rich, but the interesting one was identity tied to net worth, because I think especially like in a culture where we're all like hustle, work, do this, do that, you know what I mean? You have to be doing something productive. I find people who are not rich suffer in the way that rich people suffer because of that mindset as well, which I thought was pretty interesting.
It's kind of like that. What is it? That old parable where it's like a rich man is on vacation and he sees like a guy fishing and he's like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "I'm fishing for my family." And then he's like, "Why don't you get a boat?" And then he's like, "Why would I get a boat?" And he's like, "If you got a boat, you could get more fish." And then he's like, "Why would I want more fish?" Guy's like, "Oh, you can sell the fish." And then he basically goes down the whole fucking supply chain. And he's like, and then you could get multiple boats and then you could hire people and blah, blah, blah. And then basically the conclusion of all of it is like, and then after you do all of that, you can go and fish on a beach for your family, which the fisher guy was doing. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like
already doing,
yeah. It's kind of like, I get what you mean. There is like a blinders aspect of it. It is like, wealth is very interesting because I feel like I haven't had the opportunity to speak to like people at that $1 billion mark or like that $100 million mark, but I have had like the opportunity to speak to a lot of people. I think recently in my career between that like 5 million mark and that like 25 million mark in terms of net worth. And like, I find that a lot of what I thought about those type of people were wrong. Like I used to have this connotation that like rich people have a certain level of pretentiousness or like they don't appreciate their wealth or they don't understand their, for some of them, they don't understand their, what's the word? Like, the opportunities they've been given,
the luck that they've had in life.
Yes.
And all that, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, those are like kind of like assumptions I've made. And it's like, generally speaking, I find that these people are very like socially conscious. They like actually care a lot about like what's going on in society with like, for example, the younger generation not being able to afford houses and having kids and things like that. Right. So it is interesting because sometimes I think there's the notion that like as you get rich, you become more evil. But it's like, I don't know, like maybe at the 1 billion or 100 million mark. I don't know. I've never interacted with someone like that.
It's not even about becoming more evil. And like similar to you, I've spoken to people in that like 15 to 35 range. Yep. And then I've spoken to one person who has a net worth over 100 mil. And then I've spoken to one person who's a billionaire. That's my CEO. I went and I had a conversation. The two people over 100 million, like the billionaire CEO and the 100 million dude. Yep. I didn't ask them about their money, right? I don't know. I was a bit too nervous. I'm not gonna like sit here and have a conversation and be like, how does it feel to like have $1 billion, right? Yeah. I guess I can kind of speak to like how they were like they seem very neurotic, and I think that's like the kind of main link I see between ultra wealthy people is not the pretentiousness, but almost the psychotic level of obsession with their craft, which is the only way to kind of amass that much wealth, in my opinion. And that bleeds into like how they interact, and that might come across as evil or unappreciative or whatever it is to like us who might not have that context or have that, because I was also a similar position as you, right? Where I'm like, maybe it was a little bit of resentment, or I was like, oh, like, you know, they have something I don't have, you know what I mean, whatever it is. But then you talk to them, and you know, it's a whole different story. Everybody has their own reasons for wealth, but pretty interesting read overall. Flipping to the other side of the economic ladder for a second. In Nepal, there were some protests. So basically, in early September, Nepal's government, I'm going to give you the super brief cliff notes of this, right? Nepal's government, they banned TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. They banned all three of these. I don't know, did you hear about this when it happened? Yeah. Okay. And you can like insert anything I missed along the way, right? So the official reason was rising misinformation and unrest. So, and there was an upcoming election as well that was happening, right? So Gen Z they protested. There was a huge backlash. So thousands of young people in this city called Kathmandu. I hope I said
Kathmandu.
That right.
You got Kathmandu. That perfect pronunciation. Actually.
Really? Okay, great.
It's like where you would land to start your journey to like climb.
Okay, so like is that their capital?
I think so. Yeah, it's like the biggest city from what I understand.
Okay, but, so Kathmandu. They took the streets and they were protesting. They had signs like "We can't live without our platforms," things like that. I mean, it's pretty intense. So, within days, the government like reversed the ban. And they said the pressure was too strong. They admitted it. They came out. They said, "Hey, you guys protested. It worked. You can have TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram back. No problem." I thought this was interesting because this is like a really good clear-cut case of like youth influencing policy. Yep. Like explicitly. And dude, like we grew up looking at social media as like a tool, as a distraction, you know, because that's what people told us it was, right? Like oh, like, you know, don't stay on social media too long. And then, you know, it evolved into like staying connected with friends and like a way to be social and all of that stuff, right? But the interesting about this reaction is that Gen Z views these apps as some sort of civic infrastructure. Like they're unable to live without it. They're unable to function without it. It's needed for the day-to-day functions of life, which I thought was really interesting. Maybe we can break that one down a little bit too. But yeah, I mean, first of all, did I miss anything you want to add? And then maybe I have a few questions.
Yeah, I was going to say, I thought the core of the protest, and you know what, like it is based on the bans, but I thought like my understanding of the core of the protest was corruption, because there was there was this stat that I saw that was like the average youth in Nepal has like this much like basically like spend on them from a government standpoint. But then like Nepal's like royal family and like the politicians and stuff, like all their kids like are posting like you know, extravagant stories of like traveling to Europe and traveling across Asia and the States and stuff like that. So like I think like, and I don't know if the two was connected, like where like maybe Nepal banned these platforms, because what was happening was like there was a lot of these things being shared. Like people were sharing like, oh, check out like this politician's daughter who's like in Dubai right now. You know what I mean? Like wearing like all like this super expensive thing. And then like it started to escalate and all this stuff. But like it's just like, it's crazy, man. Like in other, like, don't get me wrong, I think every single governmental organization is susceptible for corruption. Like, it's just like, how can you not? Like, when there's people in positions of power, they create policies that like impact so many other people, and they can do them in a way that benefits certain people so that they benefit, right? Like, it's kind of like, how do you almost like not expect this to happen? But at the same time, it's like, I think to your point, it is a great showcase of, you know, the power of the youth. It was funny because I think they elected the new prime minister basically using Discord.
Yeah, so that was Nepal as well, right? That wasn't Nepal, like another country. Okay,
so
yeah,
after
I was going to talk about that too.
After they protested and disbanded the government, they voted for a new prime minister, and it was done within 24 hours on Discord. So it's like they all voted for this person. That's, and I hilarious. Think she was someone who resigned during like this entire corruption scandal, because she was like, oh, I don't want to, like, I can't be on the government anymore. Basically, like, I don't stand for any of this stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting. It's like, at the end of the day, you can't blame the youth, but at the same time, it's like, I can't say I'm surprised, man. Like,
Okay, well, so just thought exercise here, right? Like, do you think Canadian Gen Z would ever hit the streets for like TikTok, Facebook, Instagram ban?
No, because it's like the ban. I think it was just like the like the final straw. Like I think there was just so much other shit going on where it's like they were struggling for so long, and it's like this like was the last thing. They were like, dude, like don't take away our social media. Funny enough, it was like there was a lot of memes going around. In fact, I found out about the protest because they were making fun of one of these politicians' daughters because they were basically like, how could you be so rich and be so chopped? Like that was the whole like meme around it. And I was like, oh, I mean, like shout out Gen Zs, man. Like they get creative to get the word out.
Gen Z is some of the best insulters.
Oh,
Gen Z.
Dude.
Like I don't bar none. I don't think I've ever seen better quality insults come from any other generation.
Yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, I don't think the Canadian youth would do the exact same thing. But like at the same time, it's like we're not in the same situation, right? Like so.
Yeah, I think like despite this, being a result of other things as well, I still find it incredibly closely tied to the whole social media aspect of it, because corruption had been a thing for a while. No other generation had acted in the way that Gen Z acted, and even if it was, just like the final straw and like a whole bunch of other straws, I still don't know if this would have happened had they banned something else other than social media.
It's true. It's true. Like
even then, it's hard to say. This is significantly this is significant for the relationship that this generation has with internet. So that's why I asked. Like, let's just say for the sake of this argument that it was purely because of social media. That was purely the reason. Do you think, let's say, like Canadian or American kids would protest in the same way if this was taken away from them? Which, by the way, we did see it almost get taken away from them in the US, but that was just one social media. That was just one social media, and it never really stuck around for that long. Right?
I think it just depends, because it's like
I think no, because we're very passive people. But like, I'm curious to hear what you think.
I think it's more so just like in Canada and the States, you actually kind of have the infrastructure that it wouldn't matter that much. Like, because it's like, for example, like when social media, it's also like, where do you draw the line of social media? Like, is YouTube or like WhatsApp considered a social media? You know what I mean? Because like if you're looping like anything that's like, okay, content or communication based, then yeah, absolutely. Like I think there would be riots. Like when you're talking about like a messenger, like a WhatsApp, a Signal, TikTok plus like YouTube. I don't know, like would Vimeo be considered as part of that?
What if it was just TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook? And X.
I just think it would be impossible because, like, bro, the government, like,
for sure,
government lobbying. You know what I mean? Like, those companies would be absolutely destroyed if like the US and Canadian market was gone.
Let's be real. The only reason that this was even like remotely possible or in like, Nepal, was a thing in Nepal is because there's nothing there.
Yeah, Meta
right?
doesn't care.
Meta doesn't care. Like, okay, yeah, Nepal, shut us down. Sure, why not?
Great. Like Meta's like, we don't have Meta's like, we don't have China and we don't care. Like, you know, you think like we care about you guys?
No, they care about like the US and EMEA and maybe some countries in Africa. Yeah, that's what they care about.
They care about all the countries that like have companies that want to advertise on them.
Yes, you know what I mean? Lots of people.
Yes. So it's
lots
like
and lots of people.
I don't know. I don't think it would matter as much in Canada and the States, but like it's also like it is interesting as you say, because it's like I am seeing like social media let's say like interactions change. Cause it's like when we grew up on like Instagram and Facebook and all these things, it was like, for a lack of better terms, it was keeping in the loop and it was entertainment. Right? Like on Instagram, like why do you open up Instagram? It's because you want to see like what your friends are up to, or you want to see a meme. Like that's pretty much it. Where like you want to follow a celebrity. But it's like nowadays, like consumers actually do use Instagram and Facebook and TikTok, especially TikTok, like out of the three, like as a, like, for example, like a lot of youth use it as a search engine.
Yeah, they use it to get news.
Yeah, it's like the example I always
study.
Yeah, like it's like in the past, everyone would search like things to do in Toronto this weekend, right? But like you can search this on TikTok, and it's like there's a ton of content around it, and it's like the reason there's a ton of content around it is because people know people are seeking it, people know people are watching this content and interacting with it. So as an influencer or a publication, you're incentivized to make it, right? So it's like there would actually, I think, depending on when this, if the ban were to happen and when it happens, there would be like a shifting of consumer demographic behavior. Because it's like right now, like genuinely speaking, a lot of the younger generation actually interact with these tools differently. It would be like if Google went away. You know what I mean? So it's like beyond the social aspect, like I think there would actually be like, I don't know. And maybe it's good, maybe it's bad. I don't know. Like how good is the information on TikTok? I have no idea, right? I don't use it as a search engine myself.
Completely unverified.
Well, it's also like, you know what I mean? Like it's,
you have to verify yourself, but yeah.
Yeah, but it's also like what about a blog on like Google? Like technically it's not verified. It's,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's the same thing.
It's kind of the same thing, but I think that is an interesting point. Like I don't think we would riot though. Like I just think we have too much going for us.
No, like you don't think like all these gosh.
We just have too much going for us, man. Like when you like I just feel like kind of one of the core fundamental problems with like society nowadays is just like things are so easy that like our problems become very big and ambiguous.
No,
so we
right.
create like sub problems. Like even like yesterday at dinner, like they were talking about like I don't know this like Utah was a state basically because immigrants like when they first came to America, like they were being like chased out of like the East. So they were being chased out of like you know like New York and all of these places and the Midwest. So they went to Utah basically because the American government at the time was trying to like fucking kill everyone, like all of these immigrants, right? So it's kind of like you imagine like the mentality of like someone who's like, I'm gonna get on a boat and I'm gonna go across the sea. 20 to 40% of us is going to die, if not all of us. Like if the boat makes it, 20 to 40% of us will die from a disease. And then once we get there, we have no idea what that is like. Like it could be good, it could be bad. We just know this sucks. Like we're gonna go there and do our thing. It's like you wonder why, like, you know, like people like there wasn't infidelity, bro. You couldn't think about infidelity. That's like, what are you talking about? You're like your wife is dying of a disease. You're like thinking about like making it through the winter, and it's like now, like it's like, oh, okay, everyone has everything. So it's like the problem is like, oh, like I need to be hyper aware of like social issues or like, is my wife gonna cheat on me and all of these things, right? Like they're still important problems because it's like at the end of the day, like I think we're designed to just solve problems, but it's like, you know, like things are easy. So like we create these things, right? Like we create these like type of issues, but I don't know. This is my perspective.
No, I think that's an excellent take. And I think ultimately you're right. I'm trying to see if there's a reason why like Canadian youth would riot at the sound of this. And maybe just because of, what we're seeing right now is like, oh, it's easy to be like, oh yeah, of course that'll happen. But I don't know. And like, I don't know if it's necessarily because we have too much going for us or if we're just too passive as Canadians.
Maybe both. And maybe it's like we have too much going for us. So we're kind of like wusses now, kind of passive, you know?
Like, I think, our passiveness is a function of like, just like our national identity. But like in the US, I think the only reason why like the youth didn't get a little bit more radical about this whole like TikTok going away threat is because it never actually happened.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No
like,
one thought it was going to happen.
No, it happened for like a second. You know what I mean? And then it's like, then they put in a safeguard. They like a backup generator started going and it saved it until like they found a new lifeline. So it was like, it wasn't really gone for anything significant. No one had time to miss it.
No.
You know what I mean? But like, it was just like a constant threat over it. So that's, but who knows? Maybe I feel like Americans could potentially.
We're so not serious, bro. Like I'm telling you this for a fact. If like NASA tomorrow was like, yo, we are 1,000% sure this asteroid is about to hit the Earth in like 10 years and kill everyone, unless like even like just we just take like 20% of the existing Earth's resources, we could stop this. I guarantee you, no one's like, oh yeah, that's gonna happen. Everyone's like, shut up, dude. Like, I can't afford a house. I need to buy my Labubus. Like, I need to get my matcha tomorrow morning. And then we die. Like, that's like, that's my perspective.
Can we take a tangent break for a second?
Yeah.
What is a Labubu?
A Labubu?
I don't know what a Labubu is.
You actually don't?
I don't know what a Labubu is.
It's a collectible doll, basically. It's a gacha. Like, you know what like a gacha is in Japan? Like, you go, it's basically gambling, but you're not. You
showed them at that one cafe that we went to, I think.
Yes, like a gacha is basically gambling, but you can't even win money. You're winning like a collectible. Like a Labubu is like a more modernized e-commerce version of it. you buy a box, you don't know what's going to be inside of it.
You don't know you don't know what you're buying.
You don't. So like they also have different rarities depending on like, you know, like I actually have no idea what makes a Labubu more expensive than the others. I would imagine it's the rarity or the scarcity of it. Like I'd imagine like they print like maybe 1,000 of one design and then like 10,000 of another design, and I'd hope the 1,000 designs like more expensive. But I honestly wouldn't be surprised if it's completely arbitrary. Like I actually don't know.
Do you know generally how much they cost?
The box, I believe, if you buy it in Canada, is like $50
for one.
Yeah, and like they sell out like immediately. So it's made by this company. I believe it's called Pop Mart, and they have a bunch of lines, but Labubu is just the most popular. So you know, like the little babies with their like little penises. That's another like line. Like
Pause.
No, like the one at like they're called like something angels. Like we've seen them like at Davin's Cafe, for example.
Oh, I've seen those.
The tiny little like figurines.
They're like the little cupids.
Yeah, the little like cupid baby or whatever. Yeah, again, like that's another line. You've seen
for
the
future
green.
reference, I wouldn't describe them as babies with the penises, but yeah, like that's fine. You keep going. I know what you're talking about.
Anyway, like I'm just like
that's probably not the best way to say it.
All this to say, like I think it's like I just like I feel like our brains are like completely fucking warped. Like we don't. You know what I mean? Like
So sorry, one last question about Labubu. I'm still on the Labubu.
That's okay. That's okay.
Do you know where the name came from?
No, I think it's just I have no idea.
Is it like ethnic? We can find out. I keep hearing Labubu, and I saw a picture of once. At first I thought it was a meme. You know, like those Italian brain rot memes. I thought it was like something like that, but Labubu was created by Casing Lung.
Yeah, I was gonna say the collection is called the
Hong Kong
Monsters.
artist. All right, interesting. Oh, it's Chinese. The name is Chinese. It says. What is that? What does that say, Luke? What is this?
Like Labubu. I don't know. That kind of means like spicy. Like boo boo could mean a variety of things though. Like boo boo, like sometimes like what's it called? Like little kids call their like grandmothers or like older aunts like boo boo.
Okay, that's amazing.
So I think it's just like I don't know. It's like I don't know, dude. I don't know.
Well, it's fine. We don't.
This is how we balance our serotonin because most of us can't buy houses, so we try to buy these like fucking collectibles. We buy our matcha. We do our things, you know, and that's it. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for indulging me on this Labubu tangent.
Yeah.
The real thing is like, yeah, we're screwed.
Yeah, I think so.
We're not screwed. I think the reality of and I think what this demonstrates more than anything is, and we can talk about this. You can tell me if you agree or not, but it was what I was saying earlier. I really do think that our generation looks at social media, internet, phones, these kind of things. It's civic infrastructure. It is now a mandatory piece of what it takes to live in a global society. And it's really hard to live without that. And I have to give them credit because I do believe it's really difficult to live without it, especially if you're in an area that is already using it to connect, like Nepal, but you're not like in this remote village that never had electricity. You know what I mean? It's very different. So I think that's where this stems from. Is I don't know if I'm ready to say like, oh, we're like doomed, we're screwed, like, you know, this has messed us up so much. I think it's just life has changed, you know what I mean, to such a strong extent that it's crazy. Yeah, like digital life is now civic infrastructure.
Yeah, I think
that's what it is in 2025.
You could tangibly make an argument because it's like in most developed countries, like there's the right to mail, and the right to mail is essentially the right to being able to communicate with each other and then being kept in the loop from your government, right? Like that's effectively like the right to mail. Like at Canada Post, when I did an internship there, they were very like hard on this, right? Like it's like social media and internet infrastructure is modern mail. Like it's the modern communication. It's the modern like gene that connects all of us, whatever you want to call it. And it is so interesting to think about, man. Like I was like at the events like this weekend, like especially on Friday when I was like when I was there to like shoot and you know like I was like taking a bunch of photos. It's like I think a lot of people put more emphasis on their online interpretation of event than the event attendance itself, and that kind of almost speaks to like the emphasis and the importance that we put on our digital selves. Like I saw many people that like were not for context, like I was at like a water lantern festival this weekend. So like I saw a lot of people like that were like, you know, hanging out and like they were talking to each other and it was like kind of fun, but like, you know, like they were kind of on their phones and stuff. And then when they went to do the lantern launch, like it was like 5 to 10 minutes of like back and forth. It was like, no, like, let me see that photo. No, like, can you do this? Oh, actually, can you get the light here? I saw like one mom and she was like, I basically XYZ name. I already took 10 photos of you. And then she's like, yeah, but I just want a video. And then she's like, why do you need a video? And she's like, I just want one. And then she's like, everyone's waiting for you. Why are you like, you know what I mean? And it's like that person, like, it's like and I almost think about my mom too. And I think about this and it's like, I can't blame her because I think like it's hard to make an argument that online like version of yourself doesn't matter. It does. Like, for example, there's people that you call your close friends that you might see like once or twice this year, but like they interact with you a lot on it, like on Instagram, right? Like where you want to be able to send them a photo to keep a message going, like in chat and stuff. So I don't know. It's an interesting dynamic. I'm just kind of observing. I'm more so just like saying like I think some people put a bigger emphasis on their digital interpretation of certain things than actually the thing, and I don't think that's good, but that's just my thought. And I think like a lot of these things explains why, for example, in like a Nepal, like they would have this type of visceral reaction, right? Even outside of the corruption, I think like to your point, social media itself is important enough that they would want to do that.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think the whole piece about people like wanting the digital experience or putting more importance on the digital experience as opposed to so true. Like, how many years ago do you think it started when, like, so my first concert was 2012. That was the first concert I ever.
Concerts are a great example.
That's the first concert I ever went to. And I actually remember it fully. It was Usher. You've heard the story. It was an Usher
Justin
concert.
Bieber.
No, it was Usher and Trey Songz and Drake opened for him.
Oh yes,
in 2012. Might have been 2011 even. I don't know, but I remember it was crazy. Like Trey Songz came out. He had set up like a strip club up on stage and everything.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
He was doing the story. Even to this day, I'm really glad I brought this example up because that concert, visually, I can remember it really well. And that was what, like 15 years ago? You know what I mean? I remember like it was yesterday. I remember where I was sitting. I remember how the stage was set up. I can see the images in my head, right?
Interesting, yeah.
And I don't know where it changed, but obviously, like now when you go to a concert, everybody's got a camera, everyone's got their phone up, you know,
flashlights out.
They're mainly videoing as opposed to, and I've been trying to like over the years, I try my best to like not do that as much, but sometimes you do it, you know what I mean? And I definitely do it more now than I did, you know, all the way in the early years of first concerts that I went to, just by natural, you know. But what I find interesting is that some more recent concerts that I've been to, I can't remember as well as that one.
Yeah, I find that too. Like I find that it might just be you're kind of like more so checking something off, or like maybe because of the duality of like not being in the moment, taking those photos, all of that stuff, like it kind of takes you out. I also find that like the more maybe this is like the artists we go to, but like less and less am I finding like the people at the front are like the ones that know all the lyrics.
They don't.
You know what I mean? Like
I have no idea.
I'm finding this as a trend in concerts. Like I think there's very few concerts I go to where I'm like, okay, like I'm a hardcore fan. But generally speaking, most concerts we go to, I think like we're singing along to the lyrics way more than like everyone else. I'm like, it's almost awkward because I find that like I see us like, also maybe like I'm like kind of lit at a concert, but like I find that like I'm like kind of belting out like my shitty harmony like song, and everyone is like almost like kind of just like, you know what I mean?
Who's this guy?
Right. Instead of being like just enjoy, because I feel like that's the point of a concert. And like I don't know, if I were to ask an artist, I feel like they would be like, I want to go to a concert and have everyone sing my song. Like not I want to go to a concert and have a lot of people capture it, right? So it's interesting.
Well, I'd say the artists are incentivized to encourage this kind of behavior.
Yeah,
more videos means more promo for them. But all this to say, like I remember, like being much younger, going to concerts like 4-5 hours early.
Yeah,
I would line up for these concerts. I'd go sit at the front, and I would come back home with absolutely no voice. Yeah. Because I'm like right up at the front. I remember one time I had a bruised rib because I was like right at the front of the barriers and like I got pressed into so hard. It was like a Jazz Cartier concert. That was pretty sick.
But honestly, like, I think just to like end off like this conversation and like the pod here, like I think my thought process is more so like as you know, like this year I've been spending a lot of time at the hospital. I hope this doesn't go toward that direction, but I'm like, the one thing I want to say is like your digital self like matters when like you're like I guess like you're alive and you're trying to like do all of these like things and like, you know, stay connected with people, but it's like, dude, like the end of your life is like, or like, you know, like when things start going bad, like it's like you're truly by yourself. Like sure, like there's gonna be other people around you and all of this stuff, but it's like I feel like those are the moments you start to think about like, why am I doing the things that I did? Or like, why am I choosing to take actions? Why do I have certain perspectives or opinions or guidances in my life? And it's kind of like, none of those are things that you're going to like put on social media, nor does it matter. You know what I mean? It's like, those are the things that are really important. Those are like why fundamentally like you believe the things you do, or like the choices you made in your life. There's no one else to justify that to besides yourself, right? So I don't know. Hopefully, like we don't move in a trend where it's like, okay, like when you die, like you're fucking like posting all this shit. But anyway, you know what I mean, right? Like I don't know, like to get dark,
because I hear where you're coming from, and I agree. I think with the principle what you're trying to say. We're so far in the digital age now, where it's like, okay, that might just be someone's way to cope. That might be someone's way to not feel alone in those last moments, right? Like,
sure.
What if we were able to remove that feeling of loneliness from a person's last few moments on Earth? Would you say that's a good thing or a bad thing? Or that's a sorry. I asked it in an unfair way. I asked it in a way where you can only answer with
like I was gonna say, it's definitely not a bad thing.
So considering, you know, I'll say it this way: considering the externalities, meaning that to get to a point where someone uses social media in their final hours, you know, at old age because they want to feel connected. There's a bunch of externalities where it was the entire course of their life, social media has become such an important thing, and highlighting all of these criticisms that we've been giving it throughout this conversation, right? Like at that point, would you say that final effect of, you know, not feeling alone in your last few moments or feeling that level of connection, do you think it's worth all the change that social media has put on this earth over the past like 10, 15 years, honestly, right? Like we're so early on into this.
Like if it accomplishes that, maybe. I guess like my opinion is it wouldn't accomplish that. Like I don't think it makes you feel connected. I think like you do it. Like I think social media is parasocial relationships. Like if you like only exist on social media and you never see someone in real life, it's kind of like, you know, like if a tree falls and no one hears it, doesn't matter. But the difference is in this case, it's you dying. You know what I mean? And it's like, in that case, it's like the only thing that I think truly matters is like who gets to judge whether or not you lived a fulfilling life? Like you could make an argument, like there's a lot of externality and like we remember the great people, but it's like the reality is when Abraham Lincoln died or when Gandhi died or when these like people we see as historically great people, they will have an interpretation and a justification on their own life. You know what I mean? And I don't think if you are a person that does a lot of things for the sake of outside externality approval, especially if it's on social media, because there's like a whole nother conversation about being a person that like does things for the sake of others, but like physical people in your life, like I think that's hard to justify. That's just my perspective. It's not, maybe people can do it. I don't know if they can.
Yeah, we'll see if technology evolves to the point where you can have the best of both worlds. Well, I think that about does it for our time today. We don't have the normal stuff that we do. It's just a nice little fireside chat with Luke and Arya. So
yes, sir.
Thank you everybody for listening. We appreciate you. And why don't you give us your thoughts? Leave a comment. What do you think? Do you think social media will help you live a more fulfilled and connected life all the way up into old age? Or is it taking away from experiencing things? Tell us. And until next time, one love.
Wow.